Hello guys and welcome to Star Wars Empire. To the casual Star Wars fan, the lightsaber is an iconic symbol of a long-running franchise, as well as a pretty cool accessory. To be fair, that is absolutely correct. But lightsabers are also backed up by some fascinating lore. While not every lightsaber's fun fact is currently part of the canon, lightsaber lore continues to grow as new Force wielders are introduced to that galaxy far, far away. Why did Ahsoka Tano use a white lightsaber later on in her life? And what were some of her lightsaber's special abilities? Let's investigate. But before we do, please hit the like and subscribe button to get an update on our latest videos. Let's get started. Starting us off, the white lightsaber that represents her strength and profound experience. Ahsoka Tano is a striking figure, not least because she wields two gleaming white lightsabers. It's easy to dismiss this as an aesthetic, but Star Wars has consistently emphasized the importance of a lightsaber blade's color. It indicates something about the Jedi's personality. The kyber crystal color says something about the nature of its master. Ahsoka began with a green lightsaber, which represents inner harmony and compassion. As her skills as a duelist improved, Ahsoka created a second lightsaber with a short Shoto-style blade that was also green. However, when Ahsoka left the Jedi Order, it had a profound impact on her character. Thus in Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, she wields blue blades which represent character strength and inner resolve. Fast forward to Star Wars Rebels and Ahsoka's blades have changed color yet again, this time to white. Moving on, the white blade denotes both real and symbolic neutrality. A more detailed explanation of white lightsabers may reflect centrist viewpoints. The radical ideals of both the Jedi and Sith have overtaken neutrality in the Force, and a great Jedi arises between the two. Ahsoka decided to leave the Jedi Order since she couldn't agree on everything with the Jedi. Because of her peaceful relationship with the Force but lack of willingness to fully devote herself to the Jedi Order, her actions have portrayed her as a great Jedi. Ahsoka's path to virtue strengthens her identification as a great Jedi. Her purpose in resisting the forces of evil that plagued the galaxy was Jedi-like, despite her lack of total commitment to the passionate way of living and devotion to a single belief. When Ahsoka elected to detach herself from a binary vision of the Force, Star Wars Rebels creator Dave Filoni revealed that white sabers held more incredible symbolism. The color white is created by combining the three fundamental colors of light, which are red, blue, and green. Because the primary lightsaber hues are red, blue, and green, the white blade denotes both real and symbolic neutrality. Following that, ability of Ahsoka to realign kyber crystals to white crystal. According to Johnston's novel, Ahsoka was one of many Jedi allies who fled after Order 66. Ahsoka, a naturally righteous and courageous person, realized she couldn't simply stand by and watch as the Empire caused suffering on a galactic scale. But Darth Vader's Inquisitors pursued her every time she emerged from the shadows. She defeated one of the Inquisitors in battle and took the kyber crystals from his corrupted lightsabers, a process the Sith refer to as blading a kyber crystal. Ahsoka was able to realign the kyber crystals and heal them from the dark side's influence by using her connection to the light side of the Force. In doing so, she created the one-of-a-kind white crystals. Next, white lightsabers shows Tano's uniqueness as she's neither a Sith nor a Jedi. The white lightsabers, according to Star Wars Rebels showrunner Dave Filoni via Lucasfilm, reflect Ahsoka's status as neither a Sith nor a Jedi. She's in a unique position serving the light side of the Force while remaining unconstrained by the Jedi Order's traditions. Whereas other Order 66 survivors such as Cal Kestis aspires to restore the Jedi Order, Ahsoka is solely concerned with the overthrowing the Empire and bringing peace to the galaxy. She stands alone, a former Jedi who opposes the Sith, and her white lightsabers reflect this. Moving on, the lightsabers were used for fighting Inquisitors. She utilized the lightsabers for the first time in battle in Rada, rescuing her friend Kaden Lart and covering the escape of Rada's inhabitants onto arriving evacuation ships. Tano later used the weapons to fight several Inquisitors before dueling former Sith Lord Maul and her former master Darth Vader on Melitor after meeting the Spectres rebel group in Phoenix Cell. Ahsoka Tano carried her two lightsabers throughout the Galactic Civil War and beyond after the events in the Sith world. Tano rebuilt the lightsaber hilts over the years to make them more useful and ornamental, with new curved handles and the newly obtained white blades. Following that, Tano had the ability to access Force vision. 15 years after the Empire's establishment, Tano met the Spectres, a rebel group led by Jedi Padawan 𝐂𝐭𝐻𝐿 and his apprentice Ezra Bridger. Tano used her weapons to teach Bridger how to fight. Ahsoka and Sabine Wren traveled on a flooded vessel that had crashed on the ocean world Kila while on a quest to rescue a contact. Tano chopped through many huge chunks of rubble with her lightsabers, enabling her and Sabine a passage through the ship. Tano later faced Inquisitor's fifth brother and seventh sister in Hammertown in Takobo, defeating them easily but saving their lives as she covered Jairus and Bridger's escape with the two children, Alora and Pipey, as well as Pipey's mother Aura. Tano then joined Bridger and Jairus at the Lothal Jedi Temple. While meditating inside the temple, Ahsoka had a Force vision. Anakin's dream was enraged by Ahsoka's departure from the Order, labeling her selfish and blaming her for abandoning him. He inquired whether Ahsoka was aware of his transformation to Darth Vader. Refusing to accept the truth, Ahsoka swung her primary lightsaber, seeking to shatter the vision while crying. Tano was left alone in the dark to process the discovery. Next, Ahsoka could cleanse the corrupt kyber crystals on the dark side. In the novel Ahsoka, Ahsoka can cure a set of corrupted kyber crystals. Though her search for a perfect crystal initially leads her to the planet Elam, where many Jedi experience their first harvest of kyber, she is eventually summoned to a secluded moon in the Outer Rim. There she meets the sixth brother, an Imperial Inquisitor who has been chasing her for some time. After beating the sixth brother, Ahsoka learns that the crystals inside the Inquisitor's lightsaber have been calling to her, and she can cleanse them of the evil side. The process renders the crystals pure white, serving as the foundation for a new weaponry. Ahsoka discovered the kyber crystals that power her current weapons a year after the Clone Wars ended. Following Order 66, an elite team of hunters known as the Inquisitors began hunting down and killing the remaining Jedi, and Ahsoka became one of their targets fast. This eventually led to her clashes with the sixth brother. Moving on, Ahsoka Tano rejected the dark side. Her lightsabers are a physical representation of her desire to leave the Order and forge her path. As previously noted by the Clone Wars executive producer Dave Filoni, who also directed the Mandalorian episode in which Ahsoka made her live-action debut, Ahsoka's white lightsabers are a stark reminder of her decision and her ongoing commitment to combating the dark side. Kyber crystals and their vibrant brilliance hold significant meaning in Star Wars. The crystals are intuitive enough to recognize their Jedi and reflect their ideals, ethics, and values. The movement of the lightsaber blade says volumes about its wielder before they can speak for themselves. These crystals are associated with characteristics and personality traits. The inventor of Star Wars, George Lucas, said he selected blue for the good folks and red for the bad guys. Green became the third primary lightsaber hue, and as the series progressed, so did the variety of kyber crystals. Each was given a connotation or was usually linked with interplanetary organizations. White lightsabers were a sign that those who wielded them had rejected the dark side of the Force's allure. Finally, Ahsoka's hunt for the Grand Admiral. Tano and Bridger were forced to flee the world between worlds after being confronted by Sith magic cast through another portal by the Emperor. Tano used her lightsabers to break off the fiery energy pulling Bridger to make him come through the portal as she and Bridger fled. They parted ways and returned via the outlets from which they had arrived, Tano eventually pledging to find Bridger again. Tano returned to Malachor and went beneath the ruins of the Sith Temple on a spiritual journey that changed the course of her life before departing. Years later, in the aftermath of the Galactic Civil War, Tano returned to Lothal in white clothing to pick up Spectre Sabine Wren and search for Bridger, who had vanished into hyperspace alongside Grand Admiral Thrawn during the Lothal liberation years before. Tano was still looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn with her white lightsaber circa 9 ABY. Tano arrived on the forested planet Corvus after learning that Magistrate Morgan Elspeth was a servant of the Grand Admiral. She became a threat to Elspeth's control over Culloden, defeating Elspeth's scout guards with her lightsabers. The next day, after mistaking him for an enemy and fighting him with her lightsabers, Ahsoka was able to infiltrate the Magistrate's refuge with the assistance of Din Djarin. Elspeth fought Tano in the fight, armed with a spear made entirely of Beskar, and even managed to knock one of her lightsabers into a pond. Tano, armed only with her Shoto, had the upper hand and disarmed Elspeth, demanding the location of Grand Admiral Thrawn. By beating Elspeth, Ahsoka ended the Magistrate's tyranny in Culloden and freed its oppressed residents. So that marks the end of today's video. What are your thoughts in this video? Please let us know by leaving a comment on the section down below.